I'm almost 70 now, and some mornings I wake up surprised that I'm still here. Not in a dramatic way, just a quiet surprise like finding an old coat in the closet that still fits, even though you forgot it existed. For a long time, I believed there would be more time. Not endless time, just enough time. Enough to fix things, enough to say what mattered, enough to become the person I kept postponing. When I was younger, life felt wide. Days stretched out and years felt like suggestions instead of limits. I thought time was something you used, not something that used you back. I remember how relationships once felt permanent. Friends were just there. Family was always waiting. Love felt like something that could pause and resume whenever I was ready. Then time started moving differently. Slowly at first, almost politely. People drifted, not with arguments, but with silence. Calls became shorter. Visits became rarer. Eventually, some names stopped appearing at all. I didn't notice the moment my priorities shifted. It wasn't a decision, it was a drift. Work took up more space than I intended. Responsibility felt urgent. Rest felt indulgent. I told myself I was being practical. I told myself I was building something solid. What I didn't realize was what I was setting aside to do it. There was a lie I carried for most of my life, and it sounded reasonable. It sounded mature. It sounded responsible. The lie was that life would eventually slow down and give me space to feel it. I thought meaning would arrive later when things were stable, when I had time to sit with my thoughts, when the noise faded on its own, but the noise doesn't fade by itself. It just gets replaced by quieter sounds. Breathing, old floors creaking, the hum of a refrigerator in a room that used to be louder. I remember moments I rushed through without knowing they were moments. Dinners eaten quickly, conversations half listened to, afternoons where someone wanted my attention and I gave them tomorrow instead. Tomorrow was always cooperative back then. It always agreed to wait. There were people I loved who learned to stop asking. Not because they didn't care, but because they learned who I was becoming. Someone busy, someone tired, someone always just a little unavailable. I didn't think that would last forever. I thought it was a phase. I thought I'd circle back. Time has a way of closing doors quietly. No slam, no warning. Just a day when you realize the handle no longer turns. I learned that pride can wear the mask of self-respect. I didn't apologize when I should have. I stayed silent when a softer word could have changed everything. I told myself I was being strong. I told myself I was protecting my dignity. But now, strength feels different from here. It feels more like softness I avoided. Some nights I replay conversations that never happened. Not arguments. Just gentle talks I never made room for. Simple sentences that might have eased something that stayed tense for decades. I also believed that understanding myself would come naturally with age. That wisdom would arrive just by surviving long enough. But understanding takes attention, and attention is something I spent elsewhere. There were years when I barely checked in with my own thoughts. I moved from task to task, role to role, provider, problem solver, adult. I didn't ask myself what I felt very often. I assumed I'd feel it later when things calmed down. Now things are calm, and the feelings arrive all at once. Not loudly, just steadily, like a tide that doesn't stop. Loneliness surprised me. Not the obvious kind, the quiet kind that shows up even when someone is sitting nearby. The kind that comes from not being fully known anymore. I used to think loneliness meant being alone. Now I know it can also mean being misunderstood for too long, even by yourself. My body started reminding me of time before my mind did. Small aches, slower mornings, the need to rest after things that once felt effortless. At first, I resented it. I felt betrayed by my own strength fading. Later, I realized my body was just being honest in a way I never had been. Health becomes a conversation you can't avoid. Not dramatic, just constant. What you can do today, what you can't ignore anymore. I miss the version of myself that assumed energy was endless. I also forgive him a little now. He didn't know the cost of always pushing forward. There were loves I mishandled. Not through cruelty, but through absence, through distraction, through believing love could wait. Love does not wait. It adjusts, it adapts, and sometimes it leaves quietly when it feels unseen. I don't blame anyone for that. I see now how easy it is to confuse presence with proximity. I was there, but I wasn't always there. Memory becomes strange at this age. Some things fade completely, others stay sharp, as if they happened yesterday. Usually the small things stay. A look across a room, a hand on my arm, a pause before someone said goodbye. Those are the moments that visit me now, not the achievements, not the plans I completed, just brief human connections I didn't fully step into. If you're younger and listening now, I won't tell you what to do. I wouldn't have listened anyway. I know how it feels to think time will bend around you. I only want you to know that the days you think are ordinary are shaping you more than the milestones you're chasing. I spent a lot of time preparing for a life that was always just ahead of me. I didn't realize I was already inside it. There's a quiet grief in recognizing that. Not overwhelming, just steady, like noticing a scar you don't remember getting. I sometimes wonder who I might have been if I had believed that now was enough. If I had trusted that meaning wasn't something you earn later, but something you notice earlier. I don't hate my life. I don't regret all of it. There was love. There was laughter. There was beauty I'm grateful for. But I do regret believing that life would eventually pause and explain itself to me. It never did. It just kept going. Now I sit with the days as they are, shorter, slower, more honest. I listen more than I speak, mostly because there's less I'm trying to prove. The biggest lie I believed wasn't told to me by anyone else. I told it to myself, that life would wait until I was ready. It doesn't wait, it doesn't rush either. It simply moves, whether you're paying attention or not. I'm still here, still learning, even now, not in big revelations, just in small, quiet understandings, and that's where I am today. Not finished, not resolved, just aware, in a way I wasn't before.